We have Mesprit, Uxie, and Azelf coming into raids in Pokemon Go starting today. So I hope you guys are ready. So welcome to the Trainer Club. Here we go. The lake trios are going to be in raids, and we're going to have the counter guide today. So it's going down on the 1st, which is going to be June 1st, Thursday, and it's going to go all the way until the 15th, which is also a Thursday, and then it's going to change into Nihilego. So with that said, guys, we want to go over all the counters and where you can get these Pokemon first and foremost, because the Azelf is going to be in the Americas and Greenland. And unfortunately, we do have to remote raid if you do want to get these Pokemon in other regions. Mesprit will be in Europe, Middle East, Africa, and India. And then finally, we have Uxie that's going to be in the Asia Pacific, which is going to be New Zealand, Australia, as well as all of the Asia continent as well. So all of those places are going to be where you get them. So you guys are wondering, like, okay, how do I get these Pokemon if I'm not in these regions? Well, you can jump into the pin comments, get into the Discord. That's going to be where you can get friends from all around the globe. We have a global friending section in there. And not only that, if you guys do want to take it up a level, because you can get raids in there for free. But if you want to raid a little bit harder, we have the Patreon that you can get into the premier Discord raiders, and we have extended the amount of support that you have. So you have more than one group to be able to get support on if you do want it, which I'm really excited about. So these Pokemon are all going to be psychic types. They do have a little bit different stats. Azelf is going to be the stronger attack one. Mesprit is going to be more of the even-keeled one, and Uxie is going to be more of the defensive one. I would say to start off with 4 trainers and work down from there, because Mesprit is said to have and need about 2.23 trainers to take it down, while Uxie is going to need a little bit more because of how defensive it is, and then Azelf is going to need a little bit less. But regardless, I would say probably not try to push it right up front, and that's just with level 40 counters. I'm sure with level 50 counters and stronger Pokemon, you could do this a little bit better. So all these Pokemon being psychic types are going to be weak to Ghost, Dark, as well as Bug. So those are going to be the counters that we are going to make up for them. And these Pokemon, since they are psychic types, we do want to use, in my opinion, a Mega level 3 Pokemon that matches the psychic type, because that is going to yield you more and even more XL candy from these Pokemon. On average, you will get in and around 8 if you do catch this Pokemon, which is going to get you to a level 50 if you do choose to do so in about 36, 37 raids. So for these psychic type megas, we do have multiple options for you guys out here. So number 1, we do have Slowbro. Number 2, we have Mega Latios and Mega Latias. Great counters to be able to use. Then my favorite one that we're going to have is going to be Mega Alakazam. The reason being is Mega Alakazam does have the access to Shadow Ball, and Shadow Ball is not one of its legacy moves, so you can get that readily available today with just a regular TM on the Alakazam. So that makes it extremely friendly for this position. And not only that, we can also use Gardevoir as well as Meditite. So both of those do work, but make sure that whichever one you do use, that you have it as a Mega level 3, because that's the most important aspect. If you have the Alakazam, you're winning for sure right there, because now you have a Pokemon that has a counter move and is recommended here. So you can use this Pokemon as a counter and get the XO candy, which is always the best way to double dip. So I know we are limited for remote raids, but that's going to be where it is as of right now. Okay, so let me know what you guys are planning to do with these Pokemon. They obviously do have shinies out. These Pokemon also do, maybe fun fact you didn't know, spawn in the wild in their respective regions. They are incredibly rare, and I have caught one in Pokemon Go. So if you guys do want to see me catch one, I do believe I have a vlog that you can check out up here. Okay, so with that said, now let's jump into the other things. So let's start with the 100% IV here. The Uxie is going to be 1442 at level 20, or at level 25 it will be 1803. And the other cool thing about my Discord is we have a custom bot. So when you do invite people, it kicks out your friends. But not only that, the reason why I'm mentioning it here is it always tells you, depending on which Pokemon you are raiding, what the level 20 100% IV is and the 25 100% IV, so you never really have to remember again when you are raiding in my Discord. The Mesprit will be 1747 or weather boosted in 2184 for level 25, and just remember all of the weather boosts are going to come in windy weather for Psychic. And the Azelf is going to be 1834 level 20 or weather boosted to level 25 at 2293. So that's going to be everything we need to know. I'm not really going to go over too much of the move sets of these Pokemon because there are 3 different ones, but generally speaking, we're going to use the exact same counters pretty much regardless. There are a couple moves in here that are going to kind of hinder which Pokemon we are going to use, but at the same time, usually when that happens, these Pokemon that are extremely strong, it's better to use these Pokemon as than avoid them, even though they may get taken down a little bit faster. So starting off with our counters, let's start off with a couple Mega Pokemon. In spot number 1, it's actually going to be Mega Bayonet. Yes, over Mega Gengar. The reason being is Mega Gengar is going to be weak to Psychic types. So although the Mega Gengar is typically stronger, Mega Bayonet is recommended over the Mega Gengar at level 40 counters. I don't believe it will be recommended at level 50 counters. At level 50 counters, it's a slightly different story because I would go with the Gengar, but at the same time, just be cautious. That Gengar, although it's very powerful, it is very glassy, and any psychic type moves will take it out pretty quick. So the Mega Bayonet is going to have Shadow Claw and Shadow Ball. The Mega Gengar can have Shadow Claw, or it can have Lick and Shadow Ball. And as you do notice on these Pokemon, the Mega Gengar is 3 seconds faster in taking it down, but it has 8 more deaths when you are comparing it to the Mega Bayonet. In spot number 3, a Pokemon that I do like here is going to be Mega Houndoom with Snarl and Foul Play. I like this Pokemon because it's typically not going to be weak to any of the movesets that we have coming from these Pokemon, and it's going to resist psychic types, so this one does do well, even though it's not quite as strong. And then we have Snarl and Foul Play on the Weavile, and the Bite and the Crunch on the Tyranitar. Both of them are going to be in the Shadow forms as the top 2 attackers. Preferential for me, I would go with the Tyranitar over the Weavile. Weavile is very strong, but once again, that Pokemon is extremely glassy, and I typically stay away from those extremely glassy Pokemon. And then we have Mega Absol with Snarl and Dark Pulse if you choose to use it. We do have the Shadow Mewtwo. So Shadow Mewtwo, obviously a lot of us do have that Pokemon. It's going to be Psycho Cut and Shadow Ball as the recommended moveset. And then we have the Mega Gyarados with the Bite and the Crunch combination. This one does turn into a Dark type to get that stab bonus. And then next, we have Snarl and Shadow Ball coming on the Darkrai, or you could use Dark Pulse on this Pokemon, but typically actually recommended is going to be the Ghost move over the Dark move, even though it's not a Ghost type Pokemon, which is kind of surprising to me. But the budget counter that I recommend everybody use is going to be the Bite and the Brutal Swing on the Hydreigon. I absolutely love the Hydreigon. I actually have now 3 maxed out that I did max out when I was getting my 100% IV Mewtwo on day 1. Check that vlog out up here. It was a lot of fun. I spent a lot of Stardust during that weekend, and I have recently unlocked the second charge moves on both of my Shadow Mewtwo's, so I do plan to Elite TM those as well. Man, those Pokemon are extremely expensive for the premium items. And then next, we have Hex and Shadow Ball on Golden Go, and then Hex and Shadow Ball on Chandelure. Chandelure is another Pokemon that I do have a good lucky of that I do plan to max out, and it's a budget counter. Why do I recommend certain specific budget counters? Because we have had a calm day. Most of us have a lot of candy and a lot of XL candy, so you can get up. But I'm going to pause right here. I will be coming out with a video detailing this in specific more in the upcoming days, but I want to make sure you guys do know that in my recommendation, I believe it's better to have multiple level 40 Pokemon than have one level 50 Pokemon and have no other counters for that typing, because what happens is once that Pokemon goes down, because from level 40 to level 50, it does get some stronger, but it doesn't like double its strength and double its stamina and double everything that it has with it. It does not do that. Maybe about 15% increase. So if you're going and maxing out these Pokemon using a ton of resources all the way to level 50, and then you don't have any other counters, I highly suggest you don't go in that direction. I will explain later on. And then we have the Psycho Cut and the Shadow Ball on Mega Alakazam. And then we have Shadow Houndoom with Snarl and Foul Play, followed by the Giratina Origin form with Shadow Claw and Shadow Force, followed by Mega Pinsir with Fury, Cutter, and X Scissor, brand new Mega out there, followed by Hoopa with Astonis and Shadow Ball, and another Mega that we did talk about in the beginning of the video, which is going to be Shadow Gardevoir, because it does get Shadow Ball. But I would recommend that obviously use the Alakazam first, even though this one does work because it is a Psychic type, gets you that XL candy. As long as it's Mega level 3, will get you the most chances of getting more XL candy, and it can have a Ghost type move to be effective against these Psychic type Pokemon. Then we have Hoopa with Astonish and Shadow Ball, followed by the regular Weavile with Snarl and Foul Play. Once again, budget counter, but very glassy. So I have given you guys some really good counters, so if you do want to keep going down the list, you guys can go over here and get on downward. So what is going to be the most effective conditions for us to go after this Pokemon in? So if we want to take down the Pokemon the fastest, the foggy weather is going to be the most effective because it will boost all of our Ghost and our Dark types. So that's going to be the most effective. If we are using Bug types, which as you guys did see are not the most recommended counters, it will be rainy weather. But windy weather will boost all of our Pokemon that we are catching to level 25, which is going to be the best way to save yourself Stardust if you do plan to power up any of these Pokemon. So with all that said, thank you guys for being here as always. To all my likers, commenters, subscribers, Patreon members, everybody takes your support, subscription, and participation to the next level. I'm gonna see you guys out on the next video. Peace. I want to take this time to thank everybody who supports me in every facet. It means the world to me, and an extra special thank you to all my Patreons. I greatly appreciate the extra support to continue to allow me to pursue Pokemon Go full time, allowing me to create my daily video uploads in the most timely fashion for everyone's benefit. Plus, I get the amazing experience of sharing my creative processes behind the scenes and raiding all around the globe with select upper tiers. Thank you everybody for being a part of the Trainer Club. You all mean the absolute world to me, and I will see you guys out on the next video.